104.5 The Team, joined by the offensive lineman of the New York Giants, our buddy Geoff Schwartz. Schwartz, first question, I'm ripping the Band-Aid right off. If next season comes and you're playing the Eagles and you look across and Tom Coughlin's on that sideline with an Eagles hat, how are you going to feel?
I just don't think that's going to happen. I can't even imagine it. I know it's the NFL. I know it's a business. I just can't imagine him being the Eagles head coach. He obviously has a right to do that. He interviewed with them. I saw a report where he's interviewing with the Niners today, and he obviously still wants to coach, but that would be just the oddest sight to see that happen.
But it's emotionally hurtful, right? I mean, it's almost emotional warfare on their part.
Yes, but he's my fourth team now, so I know what being a free agent is like, and I understand where they're coming from. But yeah, it just would be extremely weird.
All right, and here's the other question. Now, the video's all over the place. People are putting the Thug Life thing behind it. Do you believe that Coughlin snubbed John Morrow when he walked off the stage?
No, not a chance. He walked by everyone. He wanted to get out of there.
I hear you. Okay, it's just more fun for me if there's drama, Geoff. I'm just saying.
No, I know what you guys want to do. I know that probably throws your show for an entire week, but no, the Thug Life thing. That's actually there was a Twitter account, like a Thug Life Twitter account that I don't know what happened to it. It's not there anymore, and it was hilarious. So I might have to actually check that out. But no, there was nothing to that.
And Geoff, during your Giants head coaching search, do you hear anything? Do you hear about like who's coming in? Does anybody tell you anything about that?
I learned just like everyone else from the Twitter machine. That's all. I mean, I'm in Charlotte now. Maybe if I was in the facility, you'd hear rumblings of who was coming in and who wasn't. But they've interviewed, 5, 6 guys, I believe, and maybe there's Hugh Jackson in there. So they're interviewing a lot of candidates, but they're not going to tell. They're not going to tell me. And even if I was in the facility, maybe I'd hear rumblings. But I just learn like everyone else. I learn on Twitter. I'm sure that I'll know what happens when we actually hire somebody on Twitter as well.
At Geoff Schwartz on Twitter. Geoff Schwartz, offensive lineman of the New York Giants, joining us today. 104.5 The Team, 1045theteam.com. Thanks to McLean Food Service. So you hear the rumors just like we hear the rumors. Out of the names you've heard so far, just gut reaction. Obviously, you're a professional. You play for whoever's there. Who's the guy you're looking at right now that they're looking at that you're like, ooh, I kind of hope he gets the gig?
I would be pleased if McAdoo got the job. I think that he's done a good job the last 2 years, and we obviously keep our offense in place. And I think that we're professional and we'd be able to learn another offense. I think that Eli would really like to kind of keep the same offense. I know we've had success in it. I know it's asking a lot, to say we need to keep our offense, but he's gotten an interview with the Eagles, so they obviously think highly of him. And Hugh Jackson, I think they're going to interview him. He's done a good job in Cincinnati. Otherwise, I don't really know any of the candidates. I saw Justin Pugh tweet something out about Doug Marrone because he was his coach at Syracuse and he really liked him. And he said he turned Syracuse program around. So otherwise, I don't really know other candidates, terribly well. I just know McAdoo really well.
Geoff, how hard is it when a new coach comes in to learn the offense?
The learning part is not hard. It's the nuance part, the part where you have to learn the checks, where you have to learn what to do when this defense shows up, what's happening. That's why I've now been in 2 complete offensive, basically reboots. I was in Kansas City with a new offense, and then I was when McAdoo, came to New York was the same year I was there. And it takes almost 10 regular season games for it to start feeling good. So learning it, like learning the actual play, is not very hard. It's learning everything else.
Giants offensive lineman Geoff Schwartz on 104.5 The Team. Now, we heard all the horror stories when Chip Kelly came in as the new coach of the Eagles. He took away Taco Tuesday. Is there a thing in the Giants organization like that whoever the new head coach is, it's like, please don't take this away from us?
Don't take that away from us. I don't know. The way the Giants are run, it's very professional and very businesslike. I know it's hard to kind of know that without being an NFL facility. There's nothing that we do that's over the top that someone would need to come in and take away. They took away kind of fast food Fridays already, which is a thing in the NFL on Fridays after practice. We we don't meet after practice on Fridays, so you normally just get like really bad food, fast food Friday, and Giants took that away 2 years ago. So I don't think that's going to come back. Then there's a reason for that. I mean, I understand, nutritionally, it's an awful meal to have 2 days before a game.
Geoff, what did you think of that wild national championship game last night?
Well, I went to bed at halftime. Was that bad?
It's not good. It's not good.
You missed the best part of the game.
So I went back and watched the second half this morning. The game kind of was a little more high scoring than I figured. I expected Alabama to win. I thought they'd win going away, and they would have won by 12 of their last scores. That's pretty much what I kind of pinned it at.
When you watch the game as a pro, Schwartz, do you sit there and go, all right, I know these kids are coming out this year. This guy's a junior. He might come out. Do you ever watch and go, man, that O.J. Howard, what a tight end he'd be. We should grab him with the 10th pick. Do you ever do that?
No, because I just don't have time for that. Now when the draft comes around in April, and I've actually looked at prospects, there's certain guys that you might say, oh, yeah, I'd like to have this guy, but I feel like we're not going to go very heavy on offense in the draft.
Ooh. I like that. It's a good prediction right there. It's Geoff Schwartz, offensive lineman, New York Giants. Of course, joining us thanks to McLean Food Service right here on 104.5 The Team.
Geoff, did Vontae Burfict deserve a 3-game suspension for his antics in the Steelers game?
He didn't get suspended just for that action. He got suspended for the week before. He took a cheap shot of a guy coming across the middle with helmet to helmet. And, I followed this kid in college. He went to Arizona State, and he's had a history of personal fouls. I think he had 3 against Oregon in the first half of the game, and the staff benched him. And, he knocked that kid out. I mean, we've kind of got that out of the game, I think, and it just was a bad look. And he targeted his head, and you're going to get suspended when that happens, especially when it's on national TV in a playoff game, and it's your 4th personal foul of the season.
Just an ugly all-around game. You ever been in a game like that where it's just pure hatred?
Well, that happens in college. When you play your rivals, you just hate each other. I'm trying to think of NFL. I mean, I was in the NFC South, and it's not that crazy in the NFC South. I think that, when I was in the AFC West, the Chiefs and Raiders don't get along very well, but the Raiders weren't very good, so we didn't get along with them. But it wasn't like the rivalry was that intense. I mean, the Bengals and Steelers have been both good teams for the last couple of years, and it seems to just pick up every time they play. And he got carried away and hurt his team.
Schwartz, is there a divisional round matchup that could actually make you stay awake through halftime?
Well, there's only one night game, which is Saturday night, and that's the AFC, right? So it's Broncos Steelers.
Yeah, no, Saturday's got the 4 o'clock and then the 8 o'clock. I think the 8 o'clock is that Green Bay at Arizona?
If a game starts at 8:30, or it's hard, I'm not staying up.
So if Arizona and Green Bay are in like a crazy battle after an 8:15 kickoff, you're going to sleep. It doesn't matter.
It depends on whether or not I get to sleep in the morning and what my day's like. I like my sleep, man. I need to get my 8 hours. So the next day I don't have a time to take a nap or make up for that. I don't know. I'll probably stay up for it. I stayed up for I didn't. I fell asleep for the Bengals and Steelers game. I don't know what I'm going to do.
You know what?
Stay awake.
I'm going to start texting you because as soon as you go to sleep, every game becomes way more interesting.
I told you. So the Bengals and Steelers game, I fell asleep at halftime, and my dog, who never has to wake up in the middle of the night, woke me up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. It was 11:35 or something. So I stumbled downstairs, half asleep, and I look at my phone, and there's 40 seconds left in the game, in the Steelers and Bengals game. So I put it on. So I saw the last minute.
Okay, all right.
How about that luck right there?
That is pretty lucky. That is nice.
Geoff, what teams do you actually have going through the divisional rounds and making it to the championship?
I think all 4 home teams win. I know all away teams won last week, but I think Carolina is got Seattle. That's here in Charlotte. Carolina, I just think Cam Newton's such a weapon that in Seattle's offensively doesn't have the personnel up front, and if Lynch especially doesn't play, to score enough points to keep up with the Panthers, I think the Panthers are just kind of score enough to win. The only game where I could see the home team really having problems is possibly New England and Kansas City, because Kansas City is just not a good matchup for New England. So that'll be interesting. And I think Arizona, should win that game. And with Big Ben being hurt and Antonio Brown being out and D'Angelo Williams, who knows? I think Denver wins that game with their defense.
All right, and who do you think's going to LA? Do you have any feeling on that right now as the owners meet today?
Rams for sure, and then I assume the Chargers. I mean, they've done a lot of work to try to get out of there, and then I think they'll take those relocation fees, which are $550 million, and they'll use them to try to build a new stadium in Oakland.
Oh, I like that. I like good prediction. Yeah. Is that the kind
I've seen those rumors floating around.
Is that the kind of hard-hitting insider information we get on the Block 'em Up podcast?
Yeah, so me and my buddy Duke Mayweather started a podcast. It's called Block 'em Up. It's on Podbean, and it's also on iTunes. You can subscribe and check it out. We used to do one weekly podcast. We're now moving to 2 or 3 shorter ones a week, where one of them will just be kind of a recap of the weekend, a kind of just lighthearted one, and then we'll have one later in the week with an interview and more O-line specific. My buddy played O-line with me, and it's going to be very kind of technical about offensive line. We'll try to teach you something every podcast. And so it's pretty good so far. You should take a listen, download it, subscribe, do all that fun stuff.
Geoff Schwartz, offensive lineman of the New York Football Giants, host of the Block 'em Up podcast. Thanks so much for joining us, my brother.
All right, take care, guys.